And don't be a Richard, and forget to shop merch with the perp on ygoproject.com. That's ygoproject.com/merch-with-a-perp. Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Trauma Translator Live and Pod. I'm your host, Lauren Friedman. I'm really excited for today's episode. We have an amazing guest. Chad Phillips is here. He's going to be sharing a wonderful POV on lifestyle, leadership, and really embodying the divine masculine. So stay tuned for that. And before we jump into the episode today, I just wanted to remind everybody that we are having the Anxiety Antidote event tomorrow in New York City. We will be taking this on the road and going to different cities and collaborating with different people across the country and world. But tomorrow's event is in collaboration with Propel Earth, which is Stephen Michael. He is just absolutely amazing. And we're going to be having a networking event where you can actually find a way to release anxiety in real time. We're featuring actually Camuso Design, which was on the show. The co-founders were on the show a few weeks ago. We're featuring the Camuso Flex. So the first 30 people that show up have actually bags with Camuso Flex, merch with a perp, and some other little goodies to help you find real-time anxiety relief and that micro calm moment. So before we dive into the show, I just wanted to remind everybody about that. If you'd still like to sign up, there's an event on here. You could check it out on Instagram and just message me with any questions. We will be having them monthly. It is going to be really exciting. And the reason I'm the most excited about this is because I started feeling anxiety for the first time at almost 40. And it was so debilitating. It was so disorienting. And I didn't know what to do. And I didn't know who to speak to. And every doctor had always told me to just lose weight. And I was raised by two therapists and I was in therapy since I was 5. So I was like, what's going on in my body? So when I first learned how to reconnect with myself and really trust myself and learn how to breathe, the whole world opened up. So I hope that you'll join us and at some point, whether it's tomorrow or in the future. And I'm very much looking forward to having you there. So without further ado, Chad, welcome to the show today.
Hi, Lauren. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. Super excited to be here. Totally resonate with the Trauma Translator. I know you and I have had many long conversations about life, fitness, nutrition, our struggles. And, we're both very aligned with things that we've gone through and how we've overcome them. So I'm super excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
No, thank you so much for being here. I'm really excited for you to be here too and to share your piece of your POV and how you've overcome some of the hardest things. But before we do that, something I actually started to do that I've been wanting to do from the beginning is to just reset with a breath. And so I use the Camuso shift to do that. But if you don't have that at home, you could still do it with me. So if you don't mind, would you mind taking a breath with me?
Absolutely.
Great. We're going to do a 4-4-8 count. So meaning 4 seconds in, 4 seconds hold, and 8 seconds on the release. And on the release, that's where the magic happens. That's where you could actually reduce your heart rate in real time, reduce blood pressure, get back to some level of just stability in your body. Now, it doesn't mean that you're going to be completely calm. It just means that you have a pause and you could then get back into your body and understand what's going on. So, or figure out where you're going to go, whether you're going to escalate or de-escalate. So that's what we're going to do today, because I find that when I do that, the rest of the show goes beautifully. Chef's kiss. So let's do it together. Count of 4. It feels so good on the release. I just always look forward to it. So if you're not doing it at home, please join us next time. And if you want to buy the Camuso Shift necklace or any of the Camuso products like the Flex Breather, you could find all that information at the end of the episode on the QR code. So stay tuned. So without further ado, Chad, you and I first connected on Instagram, and we first started really bonding over. You had reached out and you're like, hey, I lost a lot of weight too. I really love your journey. I do fitness, and we started to chat, and I just absolutely love chatting with you. So tell me a little bit about your journey and how you got here.
Sure. Yeah. So my journey really started in 2014. 2013, I had appendicitis. That was pretty bad. I also had a Meckel's diverticulum, which is essentially another pocket in your colon. Had to go in, had to get surgery, had to get appendectomy, got my Meckel's diverticulum removed as well. Was in the hospital for about 2.5 weeks. And that really should have been my wake up call, my initial surgery, but it wasn't. And I continued my lifestyle, just fast food. I was drinking too much beer, not happy with myself, battling depression. And a year later, I went back into the hospital. This time it was for a bowel obstruction. And that was due to the scar tissue from my initial appendectomy and Meckel's diverticulum removal. So when I got to the hospital the second time post surgery, I had a bowel obstruction. They had to stick one of those NG tubes down my nose and into my stomach. So that experience was really kind of earth shattering to me. I was in the hospital for 2 weeks. I had the NG tube in my nose for about 3, maybe 4 days. At the beginning of the fourth day, I ended up just pulling the tube out myself because I just couldn't handle it anymore. Every time you swallow, you feel that tube in the back of your throat, and it was just miserable. So when I was discharged 2 weeks later, I just thought to myself, it was time to start making some changes in my life. I was not the person that I wanted to be in my early 30s. I was not taking my fitness seriously. I wasn't taking my nutrition seriously. I had a little 5-year-old boy, and I was a single dad for a number of years before I met my current wife. And I just wasn't the example that I wanted to be for him. I wanted to be someone that exercised regularly, took their nutrition seriously, and overall, I just wanted to feel better. So that's really what started my journey. I really just began with a lot of research. I had worked out really my whole life. I played basketball in high school, played basketball all through college and intramurals. So sports and working out was already a part of my life, but I really didn't take it to the level that I needed to take it to until after this experience. So I started researching, and then I started just being really, really consistent. Eventually, I got into some bodybuilding shows and had some fun with that, and did NPC men's physique, and got in third place in the San Diego competition. So I was, super proud of those things. But in the beginning, it really was just trying to be consistent, just trying to be a better person overall. And that's really what started my journey. It led to, several other things in my life that I'm proud of. But now I'm, at a place where, I still grow and learn every day with my coaching business. It's clients really do need that direction, that guidance, that accountability. But beyond helping people, it really helps me too. Like working with these clients, it's such a privilege. And I take it very seriously because, people are trusting me to help them on this journey of wellness, nutrition, exercise. And, I think that's just such a compliment for people to want to train with you. So I take it very seriously. I take their programs very seriously. But also it fulfills me too. Like we learn and grow together, things that I don't know, we look up together and we just learn and grow. And it's just such a neat community. I've had clients that have been with me for 2 years. I've had one that, she was postpartum, had 2 kids, about a year apart. So very close, went through, quite a few years, had some really bad postpartum depression, and was just, trying to find a good balance in her life, being a parent, working full time, and then, focusing on some nutrition and getting into a nice routine with her exercise. 2 years later, we've done a Spartan together. She just did her first half marathon. So just super proud of her. She's accomplished a lot. And that postpartum depression over time, it's, with getting into those routines, feeling better about yourself and all those things, like it just goes hand in hand. That slowly starts to diminish. And then it just starts to kind of go away when you, are confident and happy and you enjoy your routine and all those things. It's so important, not just for yourself physically, but for yourself mentally as well. All those good hormones going and just making you feel better overall.
Yeah, movement is medicine. That's the truth. So thank you so much. You shared so much there. And before we go further, I also wanted to say that Chad is joining us from San Diego. So that's why behind him it actually says 1027. Surfs up, and which is awesome. We bonded over San Diego because I love San Diego, and specifically La Jolla. And also, Chad is a dad for the third time, a new dad of a 1-month-old. So he is here joining us, and he's doing a lot of things. So we're really grateful for you to be here. But yeah, everything you were talking about is something I resonate with wholeheartedly. And to just take us back a little bit in your journey, in your own health journey, you were in because I was trying to do the math in my head, in 2014, you were in your late 20s at the time, right? Like you weren't even 30 yet. Right? So that's the age where like those kinds of health things are really scary. Like I never had anything like that, which is kind of crazy because I've also been almost 300 pounds multiple times, but I was working out and I was doing that. So I have a very different situation than most people of that body type, which was always just so crazy to me. But when you think about like having that happen in your 20s, it is a wake-up call, right? And like, how do you figure that out, especially being an athlete and living in Southern California? You would think like that's like the lifestyle there. So it is really cool that you were able to find that in yourself and be able to get back to that place, especially as a single dad. How did you even do that as a single dad?
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning, it's really the support of my family members. My parents helped me a ton when I was a single dad. When I was a single dad, I was working 2 jobs. I was a interventional radiology tech, so I would scrub cases with IR doctors, kyphoplasties, temporary dialysis catheters, nephrostomy tubes. So I would prep the tables just like a surgical tech, very similar. And I was doing that at 2 hospitals. So one I was working full time at, and then the other one I would do on call and pick up shifts with them as well. And then I was finishing my bachelor's at the time. So when my son's name is Caden, when Caden was 3 to 5, that all was kind of taking place. So there was very little time to really start squeezing in workouts and research and all those things. But that's really where time management came in for me. I mean, I wasn't very good with that prior to that, 28, 29 and coming into my 30s. That's when I really started to sit down and be like, okay, I really need to schedule things appropriately on a calendar, and follow through with these things. And that's really where time management started to come in for me. And I started to be able to develop routines for myself, get my schoolwork done, make sure I was, working both jobs and showing up and still having a good work ethic, but also trying to spend some time for myself. So before my current wife, being together with my current wife, my parents were absolutely my support system. They just helped me tremendously and always been super supportive. So I'm just very fortunate to come from the family that I've come from. And, to this day, we're all very good friends. I train my dad now too, which is, something just special we get to do once a week together, train together. So that's been really neat. And then when my wife came into the picture, she's just been supportive since day one, honestly. I mean, looking back, all those years ago and talking about bodybuilding shows and, doing those and her coming with me and getting the tans and, researching peak week and what you're supposed to have on peak week and, all those things. I mean, it's stressful, but, if you don't have a good support system and people that believe in you and are supportive of you, I think honestly, I really owe it to them more than anything else. Like, yes, I did get better at time management. I did schedule these workouts. I scheduled my nutrition. I did all the research I could do. But it really came down to the people around me, my family members, and how supportive they were of me, and very little resistance. I mean, I can remember even going back talking about doing a world record, right? Like, okay, Chad, you're gonna do a world record, sure, like those things, but my wife was always right there, always believed in me. When I was spending just hours in the garage, like, jumping on boxes, eating shit and, getting hurt and all those things. Like, it was stressful. It takes a lot on your mindset to kind of really get through those things and continue to push on. But the support system, man, that's really where I owe everything.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with you. Like, I don't have that support system, but like right now I don't, but that's why I've been putting together this healing ecosystem so that people could find the right support, because connection changes everything. And like when you were talking about in your 20s being a single dad and having your family, like, yeah, those are all things that like men aren't generally taught how to do these things unless you were like in a special needs class or some type of class where they taught you life skills. You weren't taught time management. You weren't taught how to achieve things unless you had to, right? So that's one of the things I also work on with the men that I work with too, is how do you do these things on your own? And when I started my journey, it was right before I turned 30, actually. One of the things that precipitated it, because I ran track, since in high school, I swam, I was always active. I was an athlete. And that bilateral stimulation was what actually kept me thin in high school. I didn't realize it, right? Because it was that long form cardio. I had no idea. I thought I was fat. Meanwhile, I'm pretty much like the same size. I was pretty much the same size I am right now, which is crazy because I'm thin now. But when you think about it back then, it's insane. And my first thing was it was like when I was like 28, I believe, or 29, I was turning 30. And I had like debilitating back pain for the first time in my whole life. And that was the first sign. And I went to a chiropractor and he was like, it's probably just like whatever it was. And I just remember thinking, I'm never going to get off the sofa again. Like, I'm literally never going to be able to move. And as soon as I was able to move, I went straight to CKO and I started with kickboxing because I was like, I'm going to make sure that, because at the time my marriage was falling apart, which this is like 2012. So it's a long time ago. And I didn't get divorced until 2025. My marriage is falling apart. I was, passed up for a promotion at work. And I was like, you know what? The one thing I can control is my body. So for me, like the discipline, the routines, like the time management, those have never been my problem. My problem has been, how do I get into my body and have my mind and body come together and as one? And it took me a very long time, but having those aha moments and having, that support system, like my ex-husband, still, he's my biggest fan. Like, I remember when you were saying people were like, oh yeah, a world champion. Like, what is he going to do? I remember my ex-sister-in-law was like, when I said I was going to start this diet, people were like, you're never going to be able to lose weight. And only a few select people really believed in me. And I didn't really need them to believe in me, but it was so much better when they did, because it's really hard to do things on your own. So for the people at home that aren't familiar with you, because people on Instagram are, and I know your Instagram isn't hooked up right now. It isn't able to be, just like my YouTube isn't. But for the people at home, you do have a full-time job outside the scope of what you're doing with your children and your coaching business, and also and your world record. So just, you touched upon that. So share a little bit about what you do full-time as well, because it is interrelated, right? And your world record, because that's kind of cool.
Sure. No, absolutely. And just to piggyback on what you just said too, Lauren, like, support system, whether that be family or friends, like we have friends that are so valuable to us. And, looking back on my own journey, like the people that were encouraging to me, like it helped me so much. Like, I can't even describe like how much it like gave me energy, and just like those difficult nights where I just was like wanted to give up, like it helped push me through. Like, just one person saying like, you got that, dude, high jump, you can do this, like little tiny things. That's why, like, I think positive encouragement is so incredibly important. Like, if anybody is trying to accomplish something, whether that be a transformation, a 5K, a half marathon, like, you should be so encouraging and positive to that person, because that journey by itself is not easy. You know what I mean? So anybody that's going through something, friends, family, like, don't belittle them if they're trying to accomplish something. Like, be as encouraging, don't be sarcastic, be positive, be one of those valuable friends, like close friends, that they're going to look back on that day when they actually accomplished that half marathon or that 5K. Like, hell yeah, Lauren was right there with me that whole time. I valued her being so kind to me, I think that stuff's really valuable. So
yeah.
so I
actually pause for 1 second. Sorry. Just to jump on that though, people generally like, I've learned this the really hard way. What I used to think was like, my biggest hurdles, like losing weight, losing over 100 pounds multiple times, losing my job 6 times and having to always rebound, losing my whole family. The hardest thing of all of this has been trying to scale a business when nobody has been supporting me. And it's been so hard. So that's why I'm grateful for people like you, strangers that I meet on the internet that have been supportive, because you're right. And sometimes you're not going to find it in other people and you have to be able to find it in yourself. And that's why I have the mantra moment and the mantra bottles and the merch with a perk, because these little sayings are the things that could keep you going. Like beautiful human, you could do hard things. It was said beautiful girl, you could do hard things on my original water bottle. And that was a mantra that just kept me going. And I didn't even feel like I was beautiful, but I knew that I could do hard things and I kept going. So you're totally right. That support changes everything. And a lot of times we can't find it on the outside. So we have to go deep inside ourselves and find it within ourselves. And that's a journey that I've been on, and it has been hard AF, but I'm doing it every day, and so can you. So share a little bit about your world record, because that's incredibly important. And also I want to touch upon the afterwards when you share that. I also really liked what you talked about with your training, with your coaching, because I also loved that. When I missed my personal one-on-one trainer. We had the most prolific brainstorms. We did the best types of things. I had the most fun with him. And I love that you were doing, I don't know if you said it was a Tough Mudder or a competition. Spartan, right. Spartan together. I love that. And I think that's so cool. And the post, I forget the word for it right now, but having a
postpartum. Yeah.
Postpartum. I don't know why my head just blinked out on that, but postpartum is real. Like a lot of the coaches I worked with, that's a specialization, and you have to be really good and make sure that like that person is able to do those things. So I think it's so cool that you've been helping her. But yeah, share a little bit about your world record.
Sure. Yeah. So I do, it's really kind of 2 parts to my coaching business. I do agility and jump training with, high school and college athletes. And then I also do training with dads that are just trying to get in shape, that, are trying to get on a nutrition plan. They need that accountability. So it's kind of 2-pronged, my coaching style. I've always loved jumping, agility. I played basketball my whole life. So that came naturally to me. And really it was kind of by accident, honestly, how it all unfolded. I did bodybuilding shows before I decided I wanted to do a world record. So I was heavy into weightlifting and doing that. And then I started just doing jump training while I was at the gym with a couple other athletes. And they're like, man, you can jump really high. Like you can do really well. And I was like, and I just kind of thought about it and started doing more training with it, like really focusing on vertical jump, researching it. What are the best vertical jump exercises? How do you increase your vertical jump? What do you need to do to accomplish that? So over time, I just started boosting my own vertical jump. And that led to, I do a lot of balance board type of training as well. I'm big into balance. I think it's something that's often missed a lot. And I also have clients that are in their 60s, right? And balance and body weight squats and things like that are so valuable, and people just don't do those things. And it's so healthy for them as they approach 60 and above that, just getting that movement going, getting that blood flowing, getting those good hormones going, right? All those things. So I've always been big into balance and gait and things like that. So eventually I saw a world record. His name's Silvio Saba. He is from Italy, Milan, Italy. And he held the world record before I broke his world record, which is the highest standing jump onto a balance board. And when I saw his record and I saw his measurement, I knew immediately that I think I can do this. I think I can get close. I think I can get close to this guy's record. So, I watched that video like 100 times, right? And then over the course of a year, really, it took me a year to like really decide like this is what I want to do. I can do this. So I actually went on Guinness World Records website, created a profile, and they're pretty hardcore about submitting evidence and, just to schedule it, you have to give them all this information, the equipment that you're using, you got to send them the Amazon link, they got to approve that. You have to send them a video of measuring the balance board with a tape measure, and everything is like very regulated with which rightfully so,
right? If they're setting world records, it's good to know that they're serious about making sure that they're actually correct.
Definitely. So I actually tell this story to my clients because I think it's important to recognize that using failure as a tool for growth, not as something that you fail and you get discouraged and you quit, right? Like I think just kind of flipping the script on what failure means to people. And I think failure is going to happen. You need to anticipate it, but use that as fire and as passion and as fuel to what you want to do, right? Like you're gonna fail. And if you accept that right from the get-go, then it's not going to stop you from achieving whatever goal you're trying to achieve, right? It's just going to be like, oh, that's another failure. Got to readjust, got to do it this way, got to step it up here. Let's go to the next level. And it just keeps you progressing and it doesn't devastate you. So the first time I scheduled it,
yeah, because you take the learning,
absolutely,
didn't go right, and then you can move on with how you could then learn from it in real time and adjust. And that to me is like the most beautiful part of any journey, is really being able to make those real time pivots and be able to actually see like, this isn't working, but this is. And it's about not like internalizing it, right? Because that's really hard in a physical activity. So anyway, go on. And I also want to talk about mobility and jumps afterwards, because I have some questions for you.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, one of my favorite quotes of all time is Albert Einstein, and he says, "Failure is success in progress." And that has always just like resonated with me so deeply. Like that's the truth. Like it's really just continuing on that path. Failure is just success. It's just in progress, right? I think that's such a neat quote.
You know what's funny though? I have actually a quote on my desk also that says, "Show up, dive in, persevere. Sometimes you'll win, sometimes you'll lose." And that to me is it's actually from Obama. I'm not trying to be polarizing to anybody, but it's literally, I literally love it. I ended my note to Oracle on that. So when you think about that, sometimes you win, sometimes you'll lose. That's just how it is. It's life, right? So I love that this is something you talk to your clients about, because in training, the results don't happen immediately. Like you're going to get that hit of endorphins, you're going to get that serotonin, you're going to feel good, but you're not going to see the results right away. So when you think about exactly what you're talking about, right, it's a practice over time, just like anything else.
So anyway, absolutely. No one's ever worked out and came out of the gym and been like, "Oh, I just don't feel good." Like that just doesn't happen, right? It's the getting yourself to get to the gym. But once you're done with your workout, you feel amazing. You come out of the gym and all your good hormones are going, like you said, and you're like, "I just feel fantastic right now." So I think, and you're right, like there's some delayed gratification with that, right? Like you're not going to see results right away. But every day, those good hormones are going to be flying. You're going to be feeling better about yourself. So enjoying the journey to getting to that point too, I think is super important. And I emphasize that in my coaching too, like really just fall in love with the process, how you feel, and, that confidence builder, because everybody that starts a transformation, slowly they just start feeling more confident. And I think that part is so valuable to people. We all can feel more confident, right? So I think that's such a neat thing. So the first time I scheduled my world record, you only get 3 attempts on these jumps. And everything is, you have to have a slow-mo video, you have to have a regular camera, you have to have a still camera. So all these cameras are going, you get 3 opportunities, right? 3 jumps and that's it. So the first 2 just came up short on the first 2. The third one, I got it, but I slipped off a little too early. Actually, sorry, let me go back. So the very first jump that I did, I have a video of this. I'll send it to you, Lauren. My very first attempt, I jumped up landed on the board and slipped out and just landed straight on my back on the mat behind me. That was like the start to like this whole thing. The whole saga was like this one jump. I'll send you that video. It's actually pretty funny.
That hurts so
but
much.
that
So
was my
when you land on your back like that, especially like if you land, like I landed on my my tailbone. Oh, those are hard.
Oh, it just took my breath away, right? And that was like how things started for me, right? I was like, oh man, and I'm just like laying there on my back, like, oh, this really sucks, right? So, long story short, the first attempt, I didn't get any three of them. I failed miserably the first time. So that was rough, right? Like my mom had a bottle of champagne, like didn't get to pop that bottle, right? Like, it was just kind of like devastating, the first time. And I was so amped up. I thought I was good, didn't hit it any of the three times. So I went home that night, ate a bunch of pizza, ate mint chocolate chip ice cream. Like I was hurting, right? And the next day, I really thought about it and reflected on it. And I was like, I really have two choices. Like, I can quit and just, be a bitch and be like, I just don't have what it takes. I'm not going to do it. Or I can step up my training, get a lot more serious about it, reschedule my attempt for 3 months later, and just hit it hard those 3 months. So, fortunately for me, that's the decision I decided to make. Those 3 months were grueling, difficult, very tough when, you're working a full-time job, you come home and you're spending 2.5 hours in the garage jumping on boxes. And, I fell on my bike one time, broke my finger, just, so little things like that happen, right?
I mean, you hit your shins. Like, I mean, there's a lot of things that can happen when you're jumping on boxes. Like, I have my own box jump things. Like, I want to wear mouth guards. Like when you were doing it though, like for the people at home that aren't used to this, because I train in CrossFit, right? I do these types of mobility types of exercises. Like when I first started to learn how to jump up like vertically, right? Like I started on steps and I was very scared. Like this was like so hard for me. That wasn't my thing. And that was just before I was out of lifelong survival mode. So when you're thinking about, balance and mobility, you have to be in your body first. You can't try to do it. Like, I don't know how I existed before. Like, I really don't. Like, I got hurt a lot, but like I didn't get hurt nearly as much as I could have, given the fact that I never was in my body. So when you first started, were you starting on like, did you have any ability to jump on like the 24 inches? Or did you work your way up?
Yeah, I mean, at the point I was at, I was already jumping pretty high, so I had already kind of like progressed a little bit, and naturally, I have a pretty high vertical. So for me, I certainly did progress, but most of the time that would be on soft boxes. The one that I did my world record on is a metal box, so that one's like do or die, right? With that one, but yeah, absolutely, I had soft boxes with like gym padding that you like put down, like gym mats, and I would stack those on top of each other, and then I would just start adding like one. I would do one and then be like, okay, I can add one more, and then I'd add one more, and then I just kept going until I was at the point of just under 4 feet from doing it. But yeah, a lot of bailing, a lot of learning curve there. But yeah, when I actually did it, taking the metal one, I would only train with that one about a month before, like the full 30 days before I did my second attempt. I started training with the metal one. Couple of close calls on that one, but yeah, I always recommend starting with the soft boxes, even just body weight jumps with dumbbells in your hands, like getting comfortable with just being on the ground before you even attempt the boxes. I always encourage
that. With weighted, like no, I've done, my gym does a lot of things, so I've tried everything at this point. I would never do a metal box. Like that would be the death of me. So that's, I mean, for people who know what they're talking about, I would never do that. Like I'm grateful that I didn't get more hurt. I don't F with the wood. The wood scares me. So that's really hard. And like this isn't your full-time job. Like you had a full-time job and you were doing this and you have children. And so wait, how long ago was this? Just so I understand.
So let's see. So the date that I did it was February 2/4/24. So it's been 2 years now. So yeah,
Cool.
yeah. So it's been 2/4/24. Yeah.
Cool.
And then
That's
this
exciting.
December,
I like the same number.
yeah, I mean, for me, it's time to do another one. I mean, there are two things. So I thought it was 4 feet exactly when we measured it. And Guinness World Records, they take forever to get back to you when they confirm your record. It took like 3.5 months. So that whole 3.5 months, I was just, like checking my email every day, refreshing it, right? So when we submitted everything, 3.5 months later, they approved it, but they approved it with like 0.01 of an inch less than we thought. So I thought I was at 48 inches exactly, 4 feet exactly. And then when they gave me the record, they gave it to me, but they gave me it at 3 feet, 11.99 inches. So I'm literally like 0.1 inch off of 4 feet. So yeah, I want to do it again to at least get 4 feet. I'll probably be able to do, a decent amount above that as well. And then I have another one scheduled on 6/7. So this June 7th is the highest standing jump on a balance board, but it's with a 40-pound pack. So that's that. I've been doing a lot of weight training. You've probably seen some of my videos, Lauren, but I've been doing a lot of weight training because I was only like 140 pounds, and 40 pounds on me, I'm a little guy, was a lot. And I was struggling with 40 pounds. So I've put on, I'm about 160 now at 5'8". So it's, I needed that extra shoulder strength to really like maintain that to be able to do that one. But yeah, so taking you back
That's cool
to,
though. That's what day is it? My birthday is the 6th, so you're doing it the day after. So I like it.
oh, your birthday is 6/6?
Yeah.
Oh, no way. Yeah, heck yeah. Yeah, it's on 6/7. There's a new gym that I just became a member at called Fitzy in Escondido. They're actually going to let me do it there, so it'll be fun.
That's cool. I'm excited for that. It'll be a good weekend.
Yeah, heck yeah. You should come out for it. Good time to come to San Diego.
I know. We were supposed to be doing this there. That's what we'll have to do. We'll have to film you live.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. So
yeah,
I'll take you back. So when I actually did the world record, I came up short the first and the second attempt. So I literally had one more attempt the second time, right? This is the second time around.
3
So
months
fortunately,
later.
I was able to just focus, get up there, stay on the board long enough, and jump off, and I was able to get the record. But yeah, that whole experience it taught me so much more about myself and my limits and what I'm truly capable of. I think a lot of us think that we have such a ceiling to our capabilities, but it couldn't have taught me more the opposite. I mean, there's no ceiling for anyone. Honestly, anybody can do anything. It's all about how hard you want to work, how much time you're going to put into it, how seriously you're going to take it, how you're going to manage your time to get to that goal. Everybody's capable of anything. So it taught me a lot about that.
Yeah, I think that, and what you're talking about, like how you build habits, how you build capacity, how you train, is literally neuroplasticity in action. You're showing your brain and body. That's why I say train your brain and transform your life. Like it's truly like that's how it works. So you were showing your body time and time again. This is how we do this. This is how we build habits. So you didn't just start from nowhere. You literally over decades you built out habits and then you work towards this. And I love that. I love the way you put that, because that's very true. Anyone is capable of anything. Like I blow in my own mind every day. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I got through this today. But I'm like, I've gone through every other day to this point. So why else wouldn't I, right? And I think that's so, I really love that you're doing it again. And we were talking before this, how you really believe in leading by example. And I do as well. And I think that it's really a beautiful thing for your children. Like your oldest one is now how old? He's in college or high school?
Man, about to be in college. You're making me feel old, Lauren. So so my 16-year-old is from my previous wife, who I have a great relationship with. She lives nearby. Great friend of mine. But he's 16, so he's a junior in high school. Big football player. He'll probably play some college football. So he's got a recruiter, and I'm trying to learn that world, because I'm like, I don't know this world at all, NIL deals and all this stuff. So we're trying to learn all this stuff. But yeah, he's a big weightlifter, very serious about his training, his nutrition. And, he's just really gotten locked in because, taking that step from high school to college football, it's a big step. And you really got to have that mental just readiness to accept the amount of work that's coming your way, be serious about it, and push forward. So I couldn't be prouder of him. Obviously, I'm a very proud dad, but he's way more mature than I was at 16. So I'm happy for that. Yeah. And it's just been neat to be along his side, on this journey and just supporting him. So it's been really fun.
I love that. Well, I think your kids are going to be so proud of you. The little guy is going to love it. And as your daughter gets older, she's going to watch you do all these cool things. I love everything that you spoke about. We are about to end our episode. So where can everyone find you? Where can people find you if they want to work with you, if they want to see all the world records you break? How can people reach out to you?
Sure. Yeah. Thank you, Lauren. Pretty much all of my usernames are world record jumper. So my Instagram is world record jumper. My YouTube is world record jumper. And then my website is pf-athletics.com. And all those links are in my Instagram. My Instagram is probably my main means of communication and where I post things the most. But yeah, you can find me there.
Great. And we'll add it to the comments in this episode as well. And you can also find him on LinkedIn. Scaling at his LinkedIn. But yeah, no, this is a beautiful thing. We'll have to have you on again. I love your POV. I want to learn more about the training. I want to talk nutrition with you. We have so many things to talk about. We've talked about this for months, right?
Absolutely. No, I would love to come back on. It's always great chatting with you, Lauren. You have such a good energy. You're so talented, putting all these things together. Keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a great job, and it's a privilege to come and chat with you today.
No, I feel the same way about you. I really love your energy, and I love what you're bringing to the world. And I can't wait to share it with more people. And just thank you so much for being on. And well, we can't wait to have you back. So this ends this episode. And before we leave, I just want to ask you: Do you have any final words that inspire you each day? That's something that I started asking people. Besides Albert Einstein.
Well, I'm a man of faith, and I share that with my family, and I think that none of this would have been possible if I didn't get serious about my relationship with Christ and praying, consistently and diving into the Word and helping that guide my life. So Christ is King, and always put God first.
Yeah, no, that's literally what the art and science of connection is about. It's about connection with yourself, connection to others, and connection to a higher power, whatever that higher power is, because everybody needs to find connection. Like I had the hardest time finding connection to a higher power, even though I'm not an atheist, but I'd been through so many things. It was really hard for me to have a relationship with God again. And I was able to do that. And that's the only way you could accomplish anything, by having all those types of connections. So you really embody the Trauma Translator vibe and the Southern Cali vibe. We love that. And flow equals freedom. We love it. So thank you again for joining us. We can't wait to have you back. And for everyone else, don't be a Richard. Don't forget to shop merch with a perp. We have all new hats, merch, anxiety antidote merch. You can buy it in different colors. I want brighter colors, so we're going to get there at some point. But just want to say thank you. Next week, we're going to be taking a week off. We'll be doing another episode the week after. And I hope that everyone just comes back and joins us again. And thank you. And I hope that you join the anxiety antidote in real life. Don't be a Richard. To all of the jewelry that I have behind me, I'm always wearing the Camuso shift necklace. And the reason why is that it actually is an anxiety antidote. It helps you shift into calm in real time. And it's all about the exhale. So what I like to do is do a 4-4-8 breath. 4 seconds in, 4 seconds hold, and 8 seconds on the exhale. And the exhale is where the magic happens. It actually helps reduce your heart rate. It reduces blood pressure in real time, and it helps you breathe into calm. So let's do it together. Inhale for 4. It just feels so good. This is truly my favorite. From the beach to the boardroom, you could wear it everywhere.